CI.AI Challenge 2024. I am Gautam Raman from iTrust conducting this session. Please note that your microphones are currently muted and we will unmute them during the Q&A session. To save my bandwidth, I'm just switching off my camera. So the CI.AI Challenge 2024 is organized by iTrust SUTD, providing a unique opportunity to data scientists worldwide to design, develop, deploy, and validate AI-driven cybersecurity solutions that ensure the efficiency and the resilience of industrial control systems. Let me introduce my team. So we have Professor Aditya P. Mathur, the founding director of iTrust, and Francisco, the cybertech lead at iTrust, as our advisors. I chair this competition in support by Dr. Azmi, who is a technical lead, Ivan Christian, the dataset lead, and logistics are managed by Jillian. And finally, we have Vanessa for marketing and communication lead. iTrust at SUTD is a research center for OT cybersecurity with 4 test beds, 2 for water, 1 for power, and 1 for IoT. This challenge focuses on anomaly detection in water treatment facility called SWAT, which comprises of 6 stages, namely stage 1, raw water handling, stage 2, chemical dosing, stage 3, ultrafiltration, stage 4, dechlorination, stage 5, reverse osmosis, and finally we have a stage for storing the water, treated water. So the SWAT has a capacity of producing 5 gallons per minute of treated water. The architecture of the SWAT is a scaled-down version of modern water treatment facilities that are found across Singapore. So this architecture supports the researchers in translating the technology from the test bed to the industrial standards. Each stage in the SWAT is controlled by Allen Barley PLC's programming logic controller with dedicated sensors and actuators. We have the data historian for recording the sensor measurements and the actuator status every second. So the challenge consists of 2 phases. Phase 1 is the historical challenge and phase 2 is the live challenge. In this briefing, I'll be focusing on the phase 1, where we'll be providing the historical data collected from the operational SWAT in a CSV format to all participants. Each participant has to categorize the samples whether normal or anomalous, and we have a unique scoring technique to select top 5 participants for stage 2. In phase 2, they will be provided with a live access of the data historian of SWAT, where for performing the live anomaly detection process. The registration deadline for phase 1 is 11th June, and the solutions are expected to be submitted on or before 18th June. And the results will be announced on 25th June 2024. Next, for the phase 2, the setup phase will be done between 3rd July and the 8th July, where we will be coordinating our IT team with the participants for getting the for connected to the operational SWAT. We have the baseline phase on July 9th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., where you'll be getting the live data from the SWAT testbed, for training your AI models. The final evaluation will happen on 10th July between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., where we will be launching the attacks, and we have the separate evaluation mechanism to validate each technology. As I said before, in the phase 1, we will be sharing the data. We will be sharing 2 types of data sets. One named training_data.csv. Another one is called testing_data.csv. So these 2 data sets are collected by running the SWAT testbed 72 hours non-stop continuous. So the training_dataset.csv consists of the samples collected during the normal SWAT operation. Same way, the testing_dataset.csv, we will be running the SWAT both in normal and the anomalous mode. Where in anonymous mode, we will be launching cyber attacks and the physical manipulation on the sensor measurements and actuator status are done at the random points. And the label will not be given to the participants as they have to categorize each sample whether it is normal or anomalous. So the dataset format, as I said before, it will be in the CSV. So the column corresponds to the sensor names and the actuator names for along with the timestamp. The timestamp, each samples corresponds to each second. So the total components can be categorized into two. One is sensor, another one is actuator. Sensors, they are of continuous type, and actuator, they are of discrete type. So in actuator column, MV stands for motorized valve. And if it has the value 1, which means that it is completely closed. Same way, when it is 2, it is completely open. 0 corresponds to the transition state, which means either it is moving from open to close or close to open. Same way, P corresponds to the pump, where 1 represents the pump is not running and 2 represent the pump is running. And UV corresponds to the dechlorinator, where 1 stands for it is inactive and 2 stands for it is in active mode. So this is the overview of the data format, which will be provided to all participants in phase 1. In addition to these two datasets, we will be sharing another file called submission.csv, where the timestamp column will be the same as the timestamp in the testing underscore data.csv. We have two more columns named anomaly and the tag. As I said before, the participants in phase 1 have to categorize each sample whether it is normal or anomalous based on the results of their AI technique. So in case if it is anomalous, then they have to mention 1 in the anomaly column. And if they are in a position to identify the components of the threat, that can be represented. If there's multiple components, it can be the component names can be separated by colon. And if it is not anomaly, if you found it is normal, then you can mention it as 0. And the tag column will also be having the value called 0. So all participants, the results submitted by all participants in phase 1 will be evaluated based on this evaluation score, where we have the combination of detection rate, false alarm rate, and target identification rate. As to avoid the problem of um, imbalance in the nature, because the number of samples correspond to the normal will be much higher compared to the number of samples correspond to anomalous, and hence we have given weight to each metric. For example, the detection rate will be multiplied by the weight of 0.4, and the false alarm rate will be multiplied by the weight of 0.2, and the TIR, target identification rate, will be multiplied by the weight of 0.4 again. So combining them, we will have an overall metric, and based on this value, we will be identifying top 5 participants in phase 1 to phase 2. So the registration process is pretty simple. The link can be found in our iTrust website, and that will be asking some basic information like what is your team name, number of members in each team, the names, and your affiliation mail ID. We do have another option called anonymous, where the participant need not reveal any of their information. But the condition here is if you register yourself as an anomalous, then you are not, in case you have selected in a phase 1, you are not eligible to participate in phase 2. The link for the registration process is found in our iTrust website. So finally, for the phase 2 winners, we will be having a cash prize. For the first place, we will be providing 2,000 Singapore dollars. Same with the second place winner, it's $1,000. And the third place will receive a cash prize of 500 Sing dollars. So any questions? I hope your mic is unmuted now. Any questions to anyone? Yeah, I will wait for 5 minutes. If not, then we will close the session. Okay. So in case if you have any questions in future, please feel free to mail to itrust@sutd.edu.sg. And in the subject, please mention it's AI/CI Challenge 2024 query. So I would like to mention a point here. As I said before, we will be sharing two data sets uh, in a mid of May. So what we'll do is we to have another two data sets which is collected during the normal operation of the plant. So one is 100 hours data. We have ran the SWAT for continuous 100 hours, and we collected all sensor measurements and actuator status. In this data set collection process happened in March, and same way we have the recent data set collected in the first week of May. So it was again 72 hours non-stop normal plant operation. So you can also use these two data sets to train your AI techniques in addition to the training underscore dataset.csv. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your interest to participate in this competition. So this video and the presentation slides will also be available in our iTrust website. Thank you.